Hello, my friends. My name is Amanda with Amanda Panda Projects, and today I am coming at you with a super cute spring vintage butterfly shelf sitter. You guys, I am absolutely obsessed with how this turned out. Make sure that you are following the page because we got lots of cute spring and summer crafts coming your way. I got these butterflies at Michael's, okay? They were like $2 and I got a half off coupon right in the front little cubby section, okay? So I just antique waxed all the edges of those, and then I took 4 of the 8-inch wooden shims and I stained them all with antique wax as well, okay? I'm going to use these as the base, but one of them wasn't long enough and 2 of them was a little bit too long. So what I did is I just took my shears and then I cut just a little bit of the thin end off of them, and then I make the base by gluing 2 of them together like a wedge so that it's nice and even. If you ever worked with shims, there's a thinner end and a thicker end. So I just glued them opposite and I made a nice little bend, nice little base, and then I glued those together. And then this scrapbook paper, you guys, I am absolutely in love with it. Okay, I got this on Amazon. I can definitely give you the link to this. It'll be in the description of the video, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook or even TikTok. Also, if you need me to send it to you, just comment paper and I will send it to you. So I got this on Amazon. It's a 6x6, so it's smaller paper, but I absolutely love it. It came with 20, I think is it 24 pages? Yeah, 24 pages, and you get 12 designs. And then there's 2 of each one. So it was perfect for these butterflies. I just chose 3 different ones that all coordinated together perfectly. I traced the butterflies onto them, and then I cut those out, and then I Mod Podged them to the butterflies. I love this paper. It's got a little hint of like a grayish blue in it. Very vintagey. They had so many different designs too, you guys. They had like grungy, they had whimsical, they had holiday, like tons of them to choose from. I want to say there was like 30 or 40 different designs to choose from, and they're super affordable. It's only $7.99. So definitely check out this paper. Then after I got them all Mod Podged to the butterflies, I went ahead and sanded the edges because it gives it a more of a finished look. I just like sanding the edges. You don't have to, but it really makes it look better. Then took my Kiehl's dark wax with a little finger dauber and grunged up all the edges even more. Again, this is like an optional step, but this really gives it the vintage vibe that I was going for. I concentrated heavily along the tips of the little butterfly wings and along the corners and edges. And once I got it as grunged as I loved it, I moved on to the next one. And obviously I did all 3 of these. These little finger daubers work great for these too. All right, so there they are, all grunged up, and then I wanted something for the butterfly body, so I dug out my handy bag of sticks. Get it? Bag of tricks, but a bag of sticks. And I cut those to size, and then I glued those to each of the butterflies down the middle. You could use like a wooden skewer if you don't have sticks, or if you don't want to, or a dowel, or just something to give the butterfly a little bit of a body. All right, so I got those all glued down, and then I don't really like this antique wax color. You know, they changed their formula along the way. It used to be a lot darker, more of a walnutty. Now it's more of like a chocolatey brown. So I took a little bit of the old kind that I have left, just a little bit, and I just dabbed it on there to give it a little bit of a darker look. And then for the butterfly's little antennas, I just used some rusty wire, and I hot glued the rusty wire. It was too small of a piece to curl it. I wanted to curl it. And then I realized that I didn't do the back of the butterflies. And because you're going to see it, it's a little shelf sitter. It's not going to be glued down. I decided I had to stain the back of these, you guys. It just was not going to look good. So I went ahead and stained the back of them. And I also decided to switch to E6000 because hot glue and that rusty wire never works well. It just doesn't last. It ends up coming off. So I switched to some E6000, which takes a very long time to dry and cure. But because it was such a small little piece, it stayed right away. So I sanded up my base a little bit just to distress it. And then I want to do a little bow. So I took my grungy paper that has coffee like on it. It's like literally looks dirty. And another gray and white striped. And I just made it. I really did not need to use the bow dabber for this. It's a super duper simple bow. It's just 3 different pieces of fabric, but it just helps to hold it together. So I did like a tan and white, the gray and white, and then this grungy muslin. I trimmed that up, tied it up, and then this is gonna be the bow for my center butterfly. Once I got it off, I put it on the butterfly and it was a little bit too much, so I trimmed up the bottom a little bit, trimmed up the little tails, and then on the butterflies that are going to be on each side, I just decided to do my little loopy twine bow. So I just wrapped the twine around my fingers. I used 3 fingers, and then tie another piece of twine around the center, so it's almost like a figure 8 twine bow. All right, you can hear my kids yelling in the back. They're playing a game. So I did 2 of those. Again, tied it around the center, and then I'm gonna decide to add little buttons to the center of these. Glued them to the little butterflies. I used 2 like tan and white kind of buttons on the edge, and then the middle here I'm gonna use like a really darker blue button, which matches the paper perfectly. Okay, so I used a little bit of craft paper and some muslin, and I took my little acrylic alphabet stamp set, again, on Amazon. It's in my Amazon shop. I can definitely direct you to that if you want. And I stamped spring, glued it together, grunged up the edges with the same ink block or ink pad. And it was too small. I didn't leave enough room to punch a hole, so I had to glue a little twine loop on there, glued it to the center of my bow, trimmed it up a little more, and it is done. Well, the butterflies are done. All right, so then I glued my butterfly to the base. I used hot glue, but I was like, you know what? It's staying, but it's not gonna have staying power. Once I pack it up, or if I have to ship it for an auction or something, it was not gonna stay for very long. So I decided to reinforce it with some Jenga blocks. I did them upright so you can't see them. You can see them from the back, but I mean, it is what it is. It's not ideal, but you can't really see them very much. They blend in. And I go and I decide to add a little bit of Spanish moss at the end, just a little bit. I didn't really want to add moss, but I just put a little bit so you can't see it from the front at all. And I actually really like the way that the moss looks in the end. So as you can see here, I took just a little bit and put it just around where the butterfly meets the base. I didn't cover the entire base with the moss because I didn't want it to be overpowering. So just a little bit where the butterfly meets the base. And I love how this turned out, you guys. I would love it if you would just share this video with a friend, get it out there, leave me a comment wherever you are watching from, and let me know, what do you think of this gorgeous spring vintage butterfly shelf sitter? I am in love. I am happy to share any of the links for things that I used. You can always comment Manda link, and that's going to send you, if you're on Facebook, automatically my list of links to your messenger. If you're anywhere else, I can let you know what you need when you need it. So I love how this turned out. I cannot wait to see if you guys make this too.